Available now. Link below.
Imagine the unthinkable. You're in desperate need, you dial 911, and there's nothing but silence. This nightmare became a chilling reality for millions of Americans across 4 states. As the 911 system crashed, lives hung in the balance, and the specter of a sinister cyber attack loomed large. Was this a mere glitch or a chilling glimpse into our vulnerability? Don't miss my final thought on this terrifying breakdown of our emergency lifeline. So picture this, you're driving down the highway when suddenly your car sputters to a halt, you're stranded, vulnerable, and in need of immediate assistance. You reach for your phone to dial 911, but to your horror, there's no response. Just like our nation's critical nickel supply, our emergency response system has been outsourced and left vulnerable to disruption. Alaska Energy Metals is working to change that, developing the largest domestic nickel deposit with a focus on responsible mining and supply chain security. To learn more about their efforts to safeguard our critical infrastructure, visit alaskaenergymetals.com. Now, the recent 911 outage that struck 4 American states, South Dakota, Texas, Nebraska, and Nevada, was no mere inconvenience. It was a matter of life and death. In the moments when every second counts, countless citizens found themselves cut off from the lifeline they depend on. The silence at the other end of the line was deafening, a chilling reminder of the fragility of our emergency response system. Watch this.
All north units of Preparedness having 911 issues.
Overnight, emergency services down. 911 outages affecting parts of multiple states and even whole city police departments. As cyber attacking remains a major concern for authorities across the country.
Rescue dispatcher 49.
Across 4 states, residents unable to reach police or ambulances, with a full statewide outage in South Dakota. In Nebraska, local authorities saying landlines were still getting through, but all carriers were down Wednesday night except for T-Mobile. The border city of Del Rio, Texas, issuing a community alert.
You may have difficulty reaching us internally, and we're having difficulty receiving 911 calls as well.
And overnight in busy Las Vegas, residents couldn't get through to 911 on cell phones or landlines for 2 hours. Law enforcement having to come up with a workaround.
They will not be able to talk to a person, but we'll get the phone number. Law enforcement agency will call them back. They will transfer that call to our cell phone, and they will then be able to talk to a live person, and we will dispatch the appropriate units.
It's unclear what caused the outages, but it comes as the Department of Homeland Security has told officials to be on the lookout for cyber threats. The government warning in the past that there's an increased risk of cyber attacks to 911 services as they move to internet-based systems. Many Americans relieved, but searching for an explanation as services come back online this morning.
Okay, so Aaron, one of the causes may be a cyber attack. If not that, like what else could it be?
Well, at least one a police department in Del Rio, Texas, is reporting that this could have something to do with the cellular system, potentially major carriers, although saying that it rather than a civic system. But, you know, we need to wait and see. We're out to major carriers such as AT&T and T-Mobile. We have not heard back. It doesn't appear to be a Verizon situation. It's also potentially relating to how these calls are routed in general. But again, you're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, and it's interesting, 4 different states around the country. Yeah. Okay. All right, Aaron, thank you so much.
Unbelievable. Absolutely terrifying. So as the extent of the outrage became clear, a disturbing question began to emerge. Was this a deliberate attack on our critical infrastructure? In an age where cyber threats loom large, we can't afford to dismiss this possibility. The vulnerability of our 911 system is a glaring weakness that our enemies could exploit, leaving us defenseless in our darkest hours. But even if this outage was not the result of malicious intent, it still reveals a troubling lack of preparedness. How can we claim to be a nation of technological marvels when we can't keep our most essential communication lines open? The future of the 911 system is a failure of our collective responsibility to protect and serve our citizens. As we grapple with the fallout of this incident, we must demand answers and accountability. The American people deserve to know exactly what caused this outage and what steps are being taken to prevent it from happening again. We can't simply shrug our shoulders and accept this as the new normal. Moreover, we must recognize that this outage is a symptom of a larger problem, our neglect of critical infrastructure. For too long, we've allowed our communication systems and power grids and transportation networks to decay, leaving us vulnerable to disruption and disaster. It's time for a national conversation about how we can invest in the resilience and redundancy of these vital systems. The 911 outage, it should serve as a wake-up call and a reminder that we cannot take our safety and security for granted. We must act now to fortify our emergency response capabilities to protect our citizens from the unthinkable. The lives of our loved ones, the stability of our communities, and the strength of our nation depend on it. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is right now. The 911 outage is a chilling reminder of the fragility of our safety net. It exposes the vulnerabilities that lurk beneath the surface of our modern society, waiting to be exploited by those who wish us harm. We must confront this threat head on, investing in resilience and security of our critical infrastructure. The well-being of our nation hangs in the balance, and we cannot afford to wait until tragedy strikes to act.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.